Thank you for joining us for National Focus. I'm Mervin. Coming up, His Excellency President of Dominica, Charles Savarin, addresses Parliament, and the Honorable Prime Minister, Finance Minister, Dr. Roosevelt Skerrit, presents the 2016-2017 budget to Parliament. Stay with us for details of these and other stories after this.
Think water, think life. Water refreshes, restores, cleans, and enhances growth. Potable water is a benchmark for development. DOWASCO is serious about its mandate to ensure easy access to potable water island-wide and provide sewage services for a cleaner environment. DOWASCO is your water and sewage company.
Thank you for staying with us. The budgetary estimates for the new financial year 2016-2017 has been revealed, with government citizenship by investment program spurring the economy from new taxes and heavy loans. The Honorable Finance Minister, Prime Minister Dr. Roosevelt Skerrit, presented his estimates against a backdrop of global crisis which he identified as potential threats to the island's growth and survival. He listed Britain's exit from the European Union, the consequent devaluation of the British pound, terrorism, climate change, and the Syrian refugee crisis among those potential threats to the small island states. This is why he says the 2016-2017 national budget is themed Building a More Resilient Dominica.
I would not want anyone listening to this debate or this address to be left with the impression that the principle of rebuilding better is in relation only to physical structures. Our definition of rebuilding better encompasses the building of strong family units and strong support systems within households and communities. Integral to this is the nurturing and manifestation of a strong sense of personal and community responsibility. To put it simply, Madam Speaker, the rebuilding of a more resilient and a better Dominica requires each of us to be more diligent and to give our best in whatever task or duty we are called to perform.
The economic review of the fiscal year 2015-2016 indicates tremendous impact from Tropical Storm Erika. Despite performance declines in the agriculture, fisheries, tourism, construction, and education sectors, the year 2016 is still expected to show at least 1.3% overall growth. The 2017 projection is for a further 2.8% expansion. The Honorable Prime Minister announced the revenue for the 2015-2016 financial year exceeded expectations.
Collection of taxes on income and profits amounted to $69.5 million, exceeding budget estimates by $5 million, and reflects strong collection of withholding tax and corporation tax. Total revenue collections from taxes on domestic goods and services amounted to $192.7 million. Revenue from taxes on international trade and transactions indicate collections of $69.2 million. Property tax collection amounted to $7.1 million. Non-tax revenue collection played a very vital role in the fiscal operations of central government during fiscal year 2015-2016. Original estimates targeted $92.1 million. However, total collections amounted to $115.6 million, with 85.6% or $99 million coming from the Citizenship by Investment Program in force.
Both recurrent expenditure after debt and capital spending were less than expected at $354.4 million and $113.2 million respectively. For this financial year beginning July 1st, 2016, recurrent revenue is projected to be $566.7 million and recurrent expenditure, interest and debt amortization is projected to be $444.7 million. Local capital revenue is expected to be $5 million and capital spending $313.3 million. The first meeting of the second session of the 9th Parliament convened at the House of Assembly on Tuesday. The new session resumed with an address by Dominica's head of state, His Excellency, the President, Charles Savarin. President Savarin painted a picture of the global environment in which Dominica must operate and strive for excellence.
We live in difficult and challenging times. The ugly face of terrorism straddles 4 continents. The religionofpeace.com states that in 2015, there were 2,865 acts of terrorism in 53 countries, in which 27,625 people were killed and 26,148 people were injured. In 2016, so far, that is up to June 2016, there were 1,317 terrorist attacks with 12,122 people killed and 14,844 injured. With the attack in Nice, France, standing out vividly in our minds. We are also challenged by the fact that climate change and global warming are taking their toll on the productive capacity of the land within large swathes of our planet and threatens the very survival of small islands and low-lying states.
The island's head of state in his address reminded Parliament of the devastation caused by Tropical Storm Erika in 2015, as well as restoration efforts. He had this message for nationals.
What is now required of all citizens is to look beyond themselves and their zones of comfort and exercise patience, understanding, and a sense of patriotism as we undertake the arduous task of rebuilding Dominica better. Progress will not always occur at the rate we would like. However, we should all remember that no small developing state or local community in large developed states could reasonably be expected to be in the position to mobilize all the resources required in the aftermath of a major disaster to rebuild that which took decades to build in the first instance.
We will bring you more from the President's address in another newscast. The Honorable Minister for Energy, Ian Douglas, has declared that Dominica has the resources to build a geothermal development program as a country. The Energy Minister supported the decision made by the Honorable Prime Minister, Dr. Roosevelt Skerrit, to establish a domestic geothermal plant through a special purpose vehicle. The Honorable Prime Minister, during his presentation, stated that government will establish a company to build a 7-megawatt geothermal plant in 2 stages of 3.5 megawatt each. Over $46 million will be allocated to cover the project costs for over a 2-year period. Honorable Douglas went into detail on how the project will be executed.
We have tremendous technical assistance from consultants around the world. The New Zealand government continues to work with us. Of course, yesterday you heard in the budget that the Clinton Climate Initiative, who worked with us in the past, they provided legal consultants when we were drafting the bill. They continue to work with us. We have other partners called Clean Infra who will provide business advice to us, how to set up the company, how to formulate the rates. Because remember, at the end of the day, we have to provide Domlec with that power. Domlec is what is called the off-taker, because Domlec controls the grid. The high tension wires you see around Dominica are controlled by Domlec. So whoever owns the power plant and runs it and generates the power to put onto the grid must interface with Domlec. You have to decide at what price you can sell the power. Where the funding is going to come from to actually get the machinery to pump the steel out of the ground. You have to go and sit down with Domlec and find out at what price Domlec themselves want to buy the power from you who have the geothermal plant. And you have to bear in mind that you cannot sell the power to Domlec very expensive because they will pass it on to the consumer, which is called the tariff. So you always have to ensure that the end tariff is at a price which makes sense to the man at his home who wants to switch his light on, play his television, play his stereo, put his microwave to cook some food, or put his air conditioner on. All of those factors must be taken into consideration, because if the price of electricity from the geothermal energy is more than the consumer can afford, then you have defeated the purpose of geothermal development.
The Energy Minister pointed to the potential to export energy, generate revenue, and create employment through geothermal development, and other benefits which he declared are a perfect example of a sustainable use of the citizenship by investment funds. He declared that the geothermal project is a perfect example of the sustainable use of funds.
We are in this soft period where all of those liquor negotiations must be put in place while we continue to develop the plant itself, what size of generators we need to translate geothermal power into electric power to put on the lines, what type of turbines we need to pump the steam out of the ground, separate the water from the steam called the brine, and use the steam to turn the turbines so that we can generate geothermal energy so that it can be turned into electric power. All of those soft little issues, the academic and the intellectual issues, the issues on paper that people don't see, are being worked on. That's why now we can come and tell them about the company being formed. The geothermal law called the bill, which has to guide what you can legally do and cannot do when it comes to geothermal energy, had to be worked on by the geothermal unit and by the Ministry of Energy, and also it's being sent to the Attorney General's chamber, so the Attorney General and the lawyers in the Ministry of Legal Affairs could turn all of that into a bill so that we could come to the House to get it into an act, to pass it as a law. So when people don't hear and don't see anything happen, it's not because we have forgotten about the program. It is because we want to ensure that the best program is developed for the benefit of the ordinary man in Dominica.
The Honorable Prime Minister during his presentation explained that once the plant is operational, the services of a qualified operation and maintenance contractor will be secured. The Geothermal Development Bill will establish the legal framework for the development of geothermal energy in Dominica and will be submitted to Parliament at its first sitting after the budget. You're watching National Focus. More when we return.
Introducing the Government of Dominica Internal Directory mobile app, available for download from the Google Play Store, One Mobile Market, and the Government of Dominica's website. Access to all ministries and sub-departments' phone, email and office addresses and websites. Simply select a ministry and the sub-department. You can dial directly from the app or save the numbers to your phone contacts. It's convenience at your fingertips.
Is my passport ready for pickup? Good. It really works.
Download the Government of Dominica Internal Directory mobile app today.
Welcome back. A Public Relations Officer of the Dominica Solid Waste Management Corporation, General Jacob, has applauded the ruling DLP administration for the Environmental Court Initiative. Speaking at a press conference on Friday, the Prime Minister said the LITA Act will be one that will be executed very strictly, and there will be a court in place to deal specifically with offences under the LITA Act. Jacob says this will assist in curbing the improper disposal of waste.
It's under my portfolio at Solid Waste to receive those tickets being given to people who deface the environment, who break the law. And I want to say that it's about a small percentage of people doing that, about 20% of people. And we want to thank the Prime Minister, as I speak, for coming up with the initiative to see it important to have this environment court. Next year, he says, I hope it's early enough, because I have a stack of papers, a stack of tickets waiting to go through the process.
Jacob says further there is need for this type of discouragement. He wants not just stricter laws in place, but notes that education plays a key role as well.
The LITA Act and the Dominica Solid Waste Management Act, which is stringent, which states that one can be fined $5,000 or 1 month imprisonment if you're caught littering in the environment. Most times and oftentimes we place signs in a number of places. We have maybe placed about 100 signs, don't litter, no dumping signs in the environment this year. They place garbage underneath the signs, they throw down the signs, They tear the signs, they go away with the signs. A lot of things have been done with those signs, and it costs us money to produce those signs. Just warning people, just cautioning people that they should be aware that since we say to them, think before you throw, and still the people throwing beneath the signs. So for us, we're tired of talking. I'm tired of being on the radio, you know. I want to see at least I'm in charge of going to the court to ensure that people comply. Education must continue. It's not a hypodermic thing, one shot in the arm thing. You know, we must continue the process because we have generations and generations of school leavers and people going to schools. We have to continue to work with them. But we have to ensure that we do what we have to do to ensure that Dominica is kept pristine and green and continue to sell Dominica as a premier ecotourism destination.
From the 18th to the 22nd of July, the Bureau of Gender Affairs conducted a youth peace camp in the community of Marigot. In an interview with GIS News, acting director of the Bureau, Kira Paul, said that the camp, which was held at the Marigot Youth Center, took on a psycho-educational approach to non-violence using a human rights and gender technique to help those involved in understanding themselves.
We have targeted some youth who are sort of battling with some of their own identity issues, and so we want them to go through a week of reflection, understanding themselves within the context of gender and their own human rights, so that they can reflect on some of their past behaviors and make wise decisions, especially as it relates to relationships, whether it's intimate relationships in the future, whether it's relationships within the familial settings, within the community, within the school, so that they can make wise decisions. It's more or less because they're really within the adolescent phase, and you can understand all of the complications that come with that. It's just to understand themselves, go through the process of self-reflection.
She gives some components of the program.
They go through sessions throughout the day, but we've also included other psychosocial support activities. So like we had yoga, we do art work with them, we have power-up self-defense training so that they can understand what if they get into a situation where they will need to defend themselves. And we know of all of the issues that we have with young people and sexual abuse and so.
The week-long program was intended to fully immerse the participants in the topics and encourage behavioral change.
What we hope, and even if by the end of the week we do not see a total change, but over time when they get back into school they will start to think and talk with their peers about some of the topics that they would have been discussing over the week.
Coming up next, your Creole highlights with McPherson St. Luce.
Alors tout le monde, bienvenue à ce nouvel Creole. Non, moi c'est McPherson St. Luce. Premièrement, Premier ministre Honorable Dr. Roosevelt Skerrit fait présentation budget plus que $600 millions en Parlement mardi. Budget ça là qu'on un peu qui passé par une pièce taxe neuf. Plaisir bagaille développement pour payer en parmi on facilité loan neuf pour secteur hôtel, l'hôpital neuf et puis plan géothermique annoncé par Premier ministre là. Honorable Skerrit annoncé que l'argent que le gouvernement obtenu hors Citizenship by Investment Program qu'a fait une grosse contribution pour financer le budget là. Il y a l'autre bagaille qui t'a fait attention, c'est moun 70 l'année et puis plus qui pas qualifié pour une pension qui a commencé à taper $300 hors $200 qui a commencé en mois septembre l'année là. Premier ministre là aussi annoncé que moun à l'âge qui fait une contribution pour la sécurité sociale, qui aussi tapé plus bénéfice. Le gouvernement aussi qui établit une facilité de $15 millions pour faciliter le secteur hôtel, augmenter la facilité ailleurs. Le Premier ministre a aussi annoncé la construction de l'hôpital neuf qui est People's Republic of China qui bâtit l'année salam. Groundbreaking ceremony pour le grand projet salam qui prend place à le 8 août l'année salam. À la nouvelle, le ministère Télécoms qui conduit exercice orientation en l'occasion Center of Excellence en State College Dominique. Parole ça là sorti du directeur Télécoms Bennett Thomas.
En orientation, c'est un temps là tout le monde vient à Center. Ça il va taper information code Center, toute qualité concise là il y a Center et où ça parle et puis monde interagir avec monde tout ça qui a fait. Ou qui a petit brochure, ou tu as toute qualité d'information code center. Gillette, July 28 et 29, à collège là, moun sa vini, yo sa yo ke interact epi lecturers, the center director or Indian doctor, yo sa pale kan tape informasyon ko center.
A la nouvelle, management solid waste ka travay pou chen paya pop epi vet. Parole sa la sorti od ofisi relasyon publik Jeno Jacob. Koperasyon la recevwe en voiti ki ni abilite la pour recycle bagay.
On va biter encore, si nous tenons Dominique net, c'est touristes qui continuent à venir parce que nous allons continuer à vendre l'image Dominique quand il y a une place qui est belle. Et puis si vous venez voir Dominique sale, Dominique ne prend une bouteille plastique de tous côtés, ça ne va pas agir bien. Comme ça, Dominica Solid Waste Management Corporation, ensemble, et puis Red Cross, et puis Swiss Consulate, et puis d'autres partners, après cyclone, c'est Storm Erika, après Erika l'année passée, nous voyons important pour nous gagner un truck, acheter un truck, pour nous masser ces pannes là, masser ces bouteilles là, masser ces plastiques là. Et puis, comme on dit, nous avons tapé une machine qui est en landfill là, que Josephine Gebel et compagnie nous avons remercié pour nos machines là, comme on a parlé, nous avons des gens qui travaillent pour faire certaines machines là, qui travaillent pour commencer à hacher ces plastiques là. Et bien, nous avons la place, l'autre pays pour ces plastiques-là, nous avons la place pour ces bouteilles-là, bouteilles cacassées, nous avons la place pour panne, nous avons la place pour vieilles batteries, nous avons la place pour cardboard, papier. Nous, solid waste, c'est pour masser ces recyclable items là. Et puis nous pas continuer ouais landfill là, plein pour nous supposer hot kay nous, hot village nous, hot voiture, hot l'école, hot l'office nous, séparer pan plastique bouteille, mettez un conteneur et puis mettez quoi miette manger, laisse manger, mettez dans l'autre conteneur. Là nous sécler des cailles nous débrancher pied bois nous prenons pied bois nous, faire ce qui nous fait compost et puis nous manger qui est naturel, compostable, organique manger. Pour faire ce qui nous en Dominique continuer à vivre comme monde qui est en bonne santé et puis continuer à vendre image Dominique quand il y a une image naturelle, belle, et puis en image là, nous avons aussi voir le monde, mais plus principalement, nous en bonne santé.
Messieurs, mesdames, ça c'est tout pour nous faire en créole pour à présent. Non, moi c'est McPherson, Luce. Au revoir.
Before we leave, here's one announcement. The Ministry of Information, Science, Telecommunications and Technology wishes to notify the general public that formal training sessions will begin at the Center for Excellence in Information Technology on Tuesday, August 2nd from 9 a.m. The public is further notified that there will be a two-day orientation session from Thursday 28th to Friday 29th July 2016 from 10 a.m. at the center. There will be opportunities to discuss and be informed by the Indian training staff at the center about all the courses offered. The Center of Excellence in Information Technology is located at the upper campus of the Dominica State College. Coming up next, your tip of the day. Vitamin A and beta-carotene helps to boost immunity against disease. It also assists in the healing process of diseases such as measles and is recommended by the World Health Organization. Good natural sources of vitamin A are kidneys, liver, dairy products, green and yellow vegetables, pawpaw, mangoes, chili pepper, red sorrel, and red palm oil. And that's all for this edition of National Focus. We always welcome your suggestions and comments. Drop us an email at gis@dominica.gov.dm or visit our website news.gov.dm. Like our Facebook page, facebook.com/GIS News Dominica, and follow our Twitter at GIS Dominica. You can also catch up on past National Focus newscasts on our GIS Dominica YouTube channel. Live streaming is also available on our YouTube channel 24 hours a day. From all of us here on the news production team, I'm Mervin. Thanks for watching, and do join us again next time for National Focus.